Hello, gorgeous. How are you doing? Welcome to another fake cow. So in this one, I'm going to be talking about fake news. Is it harmless or is it actually kind of more sinister than that? Let's get straight into it. So according to a study carried out by Loughborough University's Online Civic Culture Centre, nearly half of social media users who share content have passed on fake news. And in the study, more than 4 in 10 people admitted to sharing fake news and false and inaccurate stories deliberately. What's more, a fifth, 18.7%, said they do it just to upset others. So that's interesting. But is it all just harmless fun? Well, it's surprisingly harmful. People will take fake news very seriously. I'm an atheist and I consider all religion to be fake news. And look what that does. People fight each other and literally kill each other. So fake news is harmful. And there's more. Elections have been won. Entire nations have been swayed because of fake news. Look what's happening in America and the UK and parts of Europe at the moment. Look at how fake drugs, homeopathy, fake and alternative cures are killing people because people believe that this stuff works. So that's certainly harmful. But the problem, I think, is deeper than that. And that's because our own mainstream media is built on fake news. Okay, it's not as sinister at that level as it's often made out to be. But you will have a lot of mainstream bias. And here's the thing. News outlets, news stories sell advertising space. And in order to sell advertising space, they need to appeal to a demographic. You are more likely to go to websites that have stories that are aligned with what you think. It's called confirmation bias. You're more likely to believe something that you kind of already believe and will accuse the other side of the argument of being fake news and lies and false propaganda. Our mainstream media, especially non-center media, will sell advertising because it gets a viewership, and that viewership goes back there because they read stories that make them feel good, that confirm what they feel about the world, regardless of how much truth is in it. And what's more, you'll often see things like statistics now show, studies show that drinking wine is bad for you, or anything. You've seen this story every week. Something new is bad for you and will kill you and will cause some horrific ailment. And that's really just taking a tiny part of a study and extrapolating a lot of information, which is at best a reach. Conversely, we also know what demographics are more likely to use and fall for fake news. For example, the study shows that traditionally conservative people with a right-wing bias are actually more likely to spread fake news than people with a left-wing bias. People with a left-wing bias are more likely to call out fake news, which is interesting. Also, men are more likely to deliberately share fake news than women, but women are more likely to unbeknowingly share fake news, which is also interesting. And the most common defense, oh, I was just sharing it, there's no harm in it. Better to be safe than sorry. That is heard so often from fake news spreaders. So what's the deal here? I mean, is mainstream media to blame? Well, not really, because mainstream media wouldn't exist if it didn't have a market. Are people to blame? Well, yeah, but also not really, because we have these stories to follow. So it's basically all of us are to blame. Let's drive this point home with a few fake news examples that have recently been circulating through social media. So first of all, we have this Canadian viral post here, which is basically Canadians have to get used to the fact that Muslims are now in the government. And the spin that was put on this story was that Muslims are now in charge of Canada, so watch out everybody. The bias was that Muslims are now going to change the laws to make Sharia law a thing, so Canada is now lost to the ravages of Islam. It's also nonsense. As always, there's a little bit of truth in that, but the full context here was that story was actually taken in 2016, and it was just towards Eid. It was just towards Islamic awareness, making allowances, not biasing toward Islam or any other religion. Next, and this was a doozy, a large number of right-wing press claimed that Target are now promoting the gay lifestyle. Don't shop at Target because they love the gays. Okay? The false part was that Target is now actively promoting the gay lifestyle to children. Utter nonsense. As I'm sure you can probably tell. The reality is that yes, Target did give $100,000. Target, if you don't know, by the way, are a huge outlet, a huge store chain in America. They donated $100,000 to a charity. It's a non-profit charity that tries to help people who are being bullied in the LGBT community. And just to show the hypocrisy here, millions is spent by churches and by actually some well-known fast food franchises to promote anti-LGBT values. So let's have a little bit of balance here, shall we? But it's by no means promoting a gay lifestyle. That doesn't even really exist, really. It's just helping bullying. It's just trying to help prevent bullying. That's not promotion. That's just stopping thugs from picking on little children. Next public claim that's been doing the rounds. Outrage as an Irish woman legally marries a ghost pirate. Arr. And then needed to be exorcised when he became a little too tasty and started to abuse her. I'd say you can't make this up, but somebody did. Again, mostly false. Okay, although there's actually, bizarrely, there's far more truth in this story than the previous two stories. So, Amanda Teague of Downpatrick, Northern Ireland, is now warning others about casually dabbling in casual spirituality. It's a headline right there. Warning! You better not be casually dabbling in casual spirituality. Yeah. And let Amanda's story be a warning to any of ye who may try. So here's the thing. Amanda has previously worked as a Jack Sparrow impersonator, going around the place being Jack Sparrow for money. At some point, she came into contact with a Haitian pirate, also named Jack, who was hanged in the 1700s for doing piratey things. Bad man. She hired a registrar and a boat and went offshore, and she married the registrar, married her with the ghost of Jack, the Haitian pirate. However, some time passed, and after becoming intimate with Jack, when she initially said it was the best sex she'd ever had in her life, she started having health problems because ghost sex apparently isn't good for you. It seems she decided that she needed to have a divorce. But Jack then became violent at the thought of having a divorce or something. Really, she decided that she needed to have an exorcism in order to be rid of Jack once and for all. I feel really sorry for this Jack guy. And then everything is fine or something. I don't know. What's the truth here? Well, the truth is all of that did happen. However, despite what the headline says, it's not a legal marriage. All of this stuff is just fantasy. It's just nonsense. You can't legally marry a ghost. You can't legally marry someone who doesn't give their consent. So that's fake news. So there we are. So there's some examples of fake news, which are kind of funny ones, I guess. But fake news is harmful. Lies are harmful. The bottom line is don't do some fact checking. It's not hard to look on sites like Snopes and fakenews.com or just apply a little bit of common sense. So that's my take on this. What do you think? Over to you. I'd love to know what you think. Leave your comments on this fake cow special below. As always, like, share, subscribe. If you like this sort of content, hit that subscribe button and smash that alarm bell to be kept informed of everything I do. And thank you so much for watching. Popping up over there is the last show I put out, and below that is the one YouTube thinks you should watch next. I shall see you in the very next show. Thank you so much. Bye.